Hello, and welcome to the announcement of the 2020 Astrid Lindgren Memorial Award. My name is Johan Palmberg. I'm a member of the jury, and I'm also Astrid Lindgren's great-grandson. This award was founded in 2002 by the Swedish government to celebrate children's literature and to honor the memory of my great-grandmother. And this year, we have decided to make the announcement here, in Astrid's apartment at Dalagatan 46 in Stockholm. Very soon we will hear the announcement, but first we will listen to a message from the Swedish Minister for Culture and Democracy, Amanda Lind.
Dear friends, we live in times that are uncertain and in many ways also scary. How can we explain to our children what is happening when we barely understand it ourselves? When measures to protect people risk increasing the distances between us, how can people and young adults find hope for today and for the future? Astrid Lindgren, she was not afraid of showing children the not-so-sunny aspects of life. She trusted the children and the grown-ups around them to find ways to cope with complexity and worries. Sometimes with a sense of humor, sometimes more seriously and profoundly, such as in The Brothers Lionheart, where there are great sorrows, but also great hope. You may know that Pippi Longstocking was invented by Astrid Lindgren when she was asked by her daughter, sick in pneumonia, to tell her a story about a girl bearing that name. A way to escape the worries, or perhaps just the boredom. But Pippi, she turned out to be so much more. She has been, and continues to be, a role model for girls and boys around the whole world. She shows that being strong and independent does not exclude being human and vulnerable. In these times, when the importance of empathy between us is clearer than ever, reading is a way of reducing distances and crossing borders. Many children today has to stay at home, not knowing when they are allowed to go out and see their friends again. But literature can be a way to explore this world from home, or even find new worlds that can comfort or simply something else to think about. This is especially important in times like these. The power of literature makes it evident why reading promotion is one of my most important priorities as the Swedish Minister for Culture, and why the Astrid Lindgren Memorial Award is so important. Founded by the Swedish government in 2002, it is the largest international children's and young adult literature award in the world. And now you are about to find out who will be the 2020 laureate. Therefore, I would now like to hand over the word to the jury. And for all of you watching, take care wherever you are, and thank you for your invaluable work to help children and young adults find new worlds as well as hope in this one.
Thank you very much, Amanda Lind. And now I'm joined by my jury colleague, Elina Druker, who is a professor of children's literature at Stockholm University. And Elina, this year we've had 240 nominees from 67 different countries. Mm-hmm. It's been quite an interesting year.
It has been such an interesting journey, and it's always a pleasure to take part of different authors and illustrators and reading promoters from different parts of the world. It's been exciting, and we've been discussing books and stories for the entire year.
That is true. Mm. And according to our mission statement, the laureates should work in the spirit of Astrid Lindgren. What do you think that means?
I think a lot of us, many of us, have the idea that children's literature is important in different ways. Not only creating strong readers, but also the experience of reading and the right to good literature and culture for children.
Okay, and now it's time for the chair of the jury, Boel, Westin, to make the announcement of this year's laureate.
Thank you, Johan. The jury has had its final and digital meeting earlier today, and we have made our decision, and this is what I'm about to announce. Litteraturpriset till Astrid Lindgrens minne år 2020 går till den koreanska bilderbokskonstnären och författaren Pek Hina. The Astrid Lindgren Memorial Award for 2020 goes to the Korean picture book artist and author Pek Hina. And I will now read the arguments for the jury, first in Swedish and then in English. Med utsökt känsla för material, miner och gestik iscensätter Pek Hinas filmiska bilderböcker berättelser om barns ensamhet, möten och gemenskap. I hennes suggestivt uppbyggda miniatyrvärldar blandas molnbullar och sorbetmånar, djur, badfeer och människor. Dörren till det vidunderliga står alltid öppen. Det är sinnligt, svindlande och skarpt. With exquisite feeling for materials, looks and gestures, Pek Hina's filmic picture books stage stories about solitude and solidarity. In her evocative miniature worlds, cloud bread and sorbet moons, animals, bath fairies, and people converge. Her work is a doorway to the marvelous, sensuous, dizzying, and sharp. And now we will listen to a telephone call. We were able to reach the laureate earlier today, just half an hour ago, actually. Are you Pek Hina?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, I'm calling from Stockholm, from the Astrid Lindgren Memorial Award, from the jury.
Uh-huh.
You know the Astrid Lindgren Memorial Award, I suppose. You're familiar with it.
Yes.
Yes. And the jury has just had its final meeting, and we have made our decision. And I have the great pleasure and honor to tell you that you are the laureate for 2020.
2020.
Yes, you are the laureate for this year.
Okay, I'm the winner?
Yes, you are the winner
Oh, thank you.
for the award. Warmest congratulations.
Oh, great, thank you.
Thank you. And you know that this award is founded by the Swedish government in honor to honor Astrid Lindgren, and the award money is $500,000 US. Wow.
Thank you so much.
Do you have want to say something to us? We are here, the whole jury. And there will be a press conference in half an hour in Sweden. That's why I wanted to tell you now. So we are...
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
No.
Can you say that again?
Yes, there will be a press conference in half an hour here in Sweden, 1 o'clock in Sweden. And so we we would be grateful if you could keep this for yourself until then, in just half an hour. Is that all right?
So, could you write me email? Because I cannot really hear you.
Yes.
I only hear part of what you said.
Very exciting news. And now my colleague Elina will give a presentation of this year's laureate.
Pek Hina is a multi-award-winning Korean picture book artist, born in Seoul in 1971. The majority of her 13 picture books are illustrated with intricately crafted miniature figures and environments. Beck has a background in animated film and studied at the EVA Women's University in Seoul and at the California Institute of the Arts. After working in advertising and multimedia for children, she turned to creating her own picture books when her daughter was born. What happens when you eat bread baked of clouds? In her first book, Cloud Bread, Beck demonstrates innovation and a desire to find new modes of visual expression. The story takes place on a rainy Monday, when two kittens find a little cloud and take it home. Their mother uses the cloud to bake bread, which they eat for breakfast. Not only is the bread delicious, it also makes everyone who eats it turn light as a cloud and gives them the ability to fly. The book's characters and their surroundings are all fabricated of paper and cardboard, lit and photographed by Hwang Soo Kim. The contrast between the flat paper figures and the three-dimensional spaces creates a dynamic, magic world that draws viewers irresistibly into the story. Since her debut, Beck has continued to evolve a singular and highly original picture book world. Within that world, she constructs stories very much like theatre pieces, building environments like stage sets and using lighting to great effect. Her techniques connect to a long tradition of toy books, a genre to which she has brought development and renewal within her highly original technical and artistic solutions. Beck's early picture books show a fascination with dollhouse-like environments populated with dolls or flat figures cut from paper. Moonshire Bay is set in an apartment building on a sweltering summer's night, so hot that the heat wakes up the residents. When the moon itself begins to melt and the overstrained air conditioning causes a power outage, the residents can enjoy Moonshire Bay that grants them relief from the heat and cool, peaceful dreams. Beck-Hina often draws attention to the book as a spatial and material form. Her technique recalls the peep box or the diorama, where objects arranged within a box or a glass case create a miniature scene in perspective. Beck herself has mentioned Hitchcock's Rear Window as an inspiration for Cloudbread, and the concept reappears in Moonshire Bay. Last Night, similarly set in an apartment building, takes the form of a fold-out book, reinforcing the linkages between the characters in the story. Each panel takes the reader into a new home and shows a snapshot of everyday routines, problems, and relationships. As the book shows, all of them, despite individual differences, belong together and have more in common than they might imagine. Beck's handcraft truly comes to the fore in this book, whose characters seem proud to be identifiable as handmade dolls. Mr. Zebra's body is sewn of striped cotton. His neighbors Mr. and Mrs. Dog boast button eyes and visible stitching. They are shabby, lopsided and misshapen, but it is these imperfections that give them much of their charm. In later books such as Bath Fairy, Magic Candies and I Am a Dog, Beck's characters become even more expressive. They have firm bodies sculpted from clay, accentuating their anatomy and facial features. The setting too evolved toward a more animated and cinematic style, using visual depth and spatiality in a highly innovative way for the picture book as a medium. The process of creating each book is long and laborious. To achieve a range of gestures and physical appearances, the artist crafts multiple small clay figures in different poses. Beck has said that she finds inspiration in the craft process itself and a creative challenge in the picture book format and the constraints of two-dimensional image making. Her dedication to the artistic process, the sculpting and the lighting, and her attention to the tiniest detail are not only impressive but also crucial to the finished result. This might mean making scores of copies of a single character with small variations, manufacturing tiny articles of clothing, or handprinting wallpapers that we will never more than glimpse in the background. For all the care that she lavishes on her characters, Beck devotes equal attention to the environments they inhabit. She opens and extends space in a way reminiscent of animated film. At the same time, she uses lighting to define spaces and create an atmosphere that is distinctive, inviting, and intimate. Alternating between close-ups and long shots, her visuals are typically designed around the experience of the child character. In Bath Fairy, a little girl goes to the baths, where she meets a mysterious old lady who turns out to be a bath fairy. The book does full justice both to Beck's sense of the slapstick and the capacity of children's wholehearted experience. The sheer physical pleasure of sliding into cool water or lounging in a hot bath is captured to perfection. Naked bodies, young and old, are pictured matter-of-factly and with nuance. Although the majority of her books focus on children and convey the child perspective, she also portrays adults and the elderly with refinement and humour. Bath Fairy is one example. Another is Red Bean, Grady and the Tiger, with author Yang Kyu Park. For this story, based on a Korean folktale, she crafted her expressive figures from hanji, the traditional Korean paper made from mulberry bark. In Moonshire Bay, the main character is an old lady wolf. She is the one who takes the lead and catches the drops of the melting moon in a bowl to make magical sherbet for everyone. And it is she who makes the moon return so that the homeless moon rabbits, familiar figures in Asian folktale and myth, can return home again. There is, in other words, a strong connection between the generations in her books, as well as a living interest in exploring and incorporating the ingredients of literary tradition. Beck's picture book Worlds opened the door to magic and wonder. Nowhere is this more true than in Little Chick Pliaki's Mom, drawn in charcoal and ink. This quirky tale paints a portrait of parenthood that is both candid and comedic. A cat named Meow loves to hunt down and torment small animals. One day, however, the cat swallows a chicken egg and is amazed to give birth to a baby chick. This unlikely event leads to an equally unlikely transformation in Meow, who finds a new role in life. An elevated, enchanted everyday is often a core element in Beck's stories. She crafts stories that draw readers into the emotional lives of her characters. This is particularly the case in Magic Candies, about a young boy named Dong Dong whose life takes a decisive turn when he stumbles upon some magical sweets that give him the power to hear and speak to animals, inanimate objects, and his dead grandmother. The story takes the form of an interior monologue by the boy, underlining the connections between the magical events of the story and his emotional process. In a subtle and open-ended manner, Beck shows how he gradually achieves a better understanding of himself and others. This entails coming closer to his father and finding a pathway out of his solitary existence. Another distinctive feature of Magic Candies is the way Beck integrates the book's text with its Korean characters into the visual images and indeed the plot. This technique also appears in her earlier books, but it truly comes into its own here, especially when conveying Dong Dong's complicated relationship to his father, a man worn down by the everyday grind. The father's endless harping fills a page with suffocating block of text, while his unspoken affection for his son appears in light, twining words that float through the air. On a later page, Beck gives a similar voice to the falling autumn leaves. Lightly, floatingly, they bid a final farewell. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. There is a poetic grandeur to this technique, with its suggestion that the world is a place both alive and ensouled. Interior monologue is also used in her most recent book, I Am a Dog, which forms the prequel to Magic Candies and is narrated by Dong Dong's dog. It is a finely tuned portrayal of a dog and his human family, where readers learn about how the dog sees the world, about his longing for his mother, and about his friendship with the boy in the family. The story shows a respect for the needs and feelings of animals, as expressed in the unusually nuanced depiction of the dog, who goes through a variety of facial expressions, looks and body postures, and the acknowledgement of his capacity for longing, sorrow and joy. Beckina is an artist who is renewing the picture book medium through bold and uncompromising development of new techniques and artistic solutions. Her feeling for materials, spatiality and gesture is impressive and innovative. Her picture books invite multiple readings and close contemplation of their minutely constructed visual worlds. Yet their skillful execution never stands in the way of the story. Beck's enchanting picture book worlds engage, amuse, amaze, and move us. The child's perspective runs through them all, as does an unshakable belief in the power of play and imagination in our lives. From the pages of her picture books, a chorus of voices invites us to step into their world and find new ways to see, think and feel.
And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please go to our website for more information, and don't forget to spread the news using the hashtag ALMA2020. We'll see you again next year.